Aries, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Aries collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the Rams? What do you have for us in early June 2026? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aries, the Ram. What do we got for Aries gang here? What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. Cool. Now, this is a big picture type of card. It is highly spiritually in tune. But to me, it does seem like a bit of a journey or a process, which again isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's this beautiful spiritual insulation that I always pick up off this card. So although it seems simple, there's a lot of depth to it, which I really like. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have someone in our favorite color, red. Seems like he's being guided by these white birds or doves. Now, in divination and symbolism, usually doves, they can represent peace, they can represent innocence, so to speak, but to me, it's also very angelic. So when I see these doves guiding this person, especially up in the clouds, it does represent spirit being around you. So again, whether it's guides, spirit team, angels, ancestors, all the above, there's this beautiful spiritual protection and insulation that I really like. And it's like they're subtly guiding this person down the road. Notice that they're all holding ropes and it's like we're directing you. So when this shows up, watch for signs, synchronicities, omens, subtle nudges, certain impulses. That could be huge in this time when this card shows up. But the other thing I mentioned earlier is, to me, this is more big picture thinking. Not what's recently happened, not what's happening this week or right now. It's like the big game, the big ball of wax. So if you're looking to the future, if you got your eyes set on something, this is a very good card for it, because it's like we are moving forward, which is the best direction for an Aries to want to move in, right? So we're just going to put this card down right there. He could keep chilling with his spirit team. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Aries gang. What do we got for early June? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. There was a lot of fiery energy. The reading was titled An Explosive Return, so it did feel like there was the door being opened for certain things, situations, individuals to just like pop up out of the blue. So just know the energy bleeds over from week to week. And again, it could be any various thing where it's like, okay, that thing's popping back up. And that could happen for a couple weeks. So the door is open, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. And yeah, we could be looking at your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going here. 3 cards for Aries gang in early June. What do we got? What do we got for our good friends? 2 of Cups, nice. It's a very smooth energy. Like even with this Oracle card, I love the 2 of Cups. I mean, it could be representative of somebody else, but we're just going to get it tucked in right here for the time being. Let's get a couple more out. It's a smooth moving energy. Okay, now we do get the inverse. We have the 9 of Wands, very protective here. Very, very cautious. All right, let's get one more. What do we got here for Aries gang? Thank you. Cool. 8 of Wands. So there is still a lot of fire showing up in the energy, which again is very comfortable for Aries, and we'll talk about that momentarily. This is a bit of like an energetic stutter step, where there could be like a little bump in the road or a little lull, and then the energy picks back up. That's what I'm already feeling here. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like it frames the reading and tells us how the energy flows. And we have a pretty good mixture here, I'd say, especially for an Aries reading. We have a little bit of water here on the front, lots of fire, nice. Now, when it comes to the water, that's the inner realm, the matters of the heart, matters of emotion, things, people, situations that we care deeply for. When I see water, I think of that beautiful, etheric, creative, imaginative type of energy. So it's usually pretty nice, but it's all internal. So again, there might be a certain internal intensity that some Aries are feeling in this time, especially with the water. Now, the only downside to this, and of course, partnerships are very important when it comes to the water element, but the big thing here is watching out for being overwhelmed, because that's the downside of water. Like sometimes those tides could come in quick. So there could be some emotional ups and downs, such as life, though, right? On the back end here, we have Aries comfort zone, right? We got the fire showing up strong. Now, fire is outward expression. When I see fire, I think of action. I always say it, it's the suit and element of action. So whether it's actions we take, the actions other people take, the actions that we want to take, this is Aries comfort zone, that's for sure. Whether it's planning and doing something or just letting things flow, there's like forward movement, very similar to what I was seeing with the Oracle card. So it's like we're moving forward with something, which I think is really nice. It could also be health, vitality, energy levels, all that kind of stuff. But the only downside to fire is similar to what I said last week. It could be explosive, right? There could be an unpredictability. There could be a volatility. So there could be certain situations where you might have to be rolling with the punches, so to speak, when this element's here. But it's a decent combination, I think. And I would say overall, the way the energy flows, it's like smooth. There's a little stoppage or a break, and then boom, it picks back up. So this could be a little bit of a bump in the road, and we'll take a look. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Two of Cups. Now, out of all the twos in tarot, this is probably one of the best ones. Now, I say when it comes to all twos, they can represent partnerships, decisions, choices, being at a crossroads. So again, this could be other people's energy, and we see these two people. They're having a conversation, sharing a drink, right? This is also a card of soul ties, soul connection. So again, it doesn't just have to be romantic. It could be an individual that we're on a very similar vibration with, or they're just really important to us, or relationships in general could be the spotlight for a lot of Aries in this time, depending, right? That's the big thing. I also say this card could just be telling us about someone else's energy, whether it's their actions, the things they're thinking, the things they're feeling. This is huge when it comes to other people. So we want to take a look at it. Now, the downside to the Two of Cups, because I say it every time, every card has a positive and a challenge. The Two Cups can represent when two people aren't on the same vibration for whatever reason. So when like you're on a similar vibe with someone, and then like something pops up and it's like, oh, we don't agree on this one. It could be like something with that, or a situation dealing with somebody that's near and dear to your heart. Now, moving to the middle, we have the Nine of Wands, but I would say overall with the Two of Cups, before we get into this, it flows. So even if you don't have anything going on with partnerships, it's an energy that flows smooth. But then we get to the Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior, and we see this dude here. He's built a wall. He's got the bandage on his head. I would say it's like a very cautious type of energy. This represents a person that's been through a few things, and they maybe don't want to go through the same thing again. So it's a person that has a lot of wisdom through experience, right? Now, in the positive sense, this could just be very territorial. It could be very protective. It could be extremely cautious, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to watch my move. I'm not sure how I feel about this, or I'm keeping an eye on something. But of course, when we get to the big downside of this card, it could represent rejections. It could represent communication issues. It could represent blockages. So this is something we do want to look out for. And it could even represent holding on to situations or issues that happened a long time ago, right? Things that may have had an impact. So could it be a problem? Sure. Could it be a serious situation of some kind? Possibly. We'll see when we clarify it. But I am of the firm belief, at least initially, that this could just potentially be like a bump in the road or a blip on the radar, if you've ever heard that theme, or that phrase. Because moving here to the back end, we have the Eight of Wands. Boom, this energy picks right up where it left off. Love the Eight of Wands. And we see the eight wands that look like arrows cutting through the sky. This is a huge card of communication, conversation, talks, fiery back and forth type of vibe. So it's pretty good to me. It could just represent action in general. So you see what I mean? We go from the easy flow to, all right, we got a little bump in the road here, and then boom, this energy comes exploding off the back end, which could be very positive. It could be things that change quickly, things that pick up steam very quickly. It's fast moving action. Now, the downside with the Eight of Wands, just like with fire itself, it could be explosive. It could be a little unpredictable when it talks about conversations. Intense, right? It's a big energetic intensity, which again, that's something I don't think a lot of Aries shy away from, speaking as an Aries myself. So the energy shows up in a very intriguing way, but I also feel like it benefits in some sort of way, whether you're the cross watcher or not. But I want to dive deeper on all of it, Aries. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Two of Cups here. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aries, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is that Two of Cups here, please? Thank you. Cool. Yeah, there is this energy that's still seeming to loop back, right? So we have the Six of Cups in reverse. Now, in the positive sense, this card could be a lot of reminiscing. Like, hey, you remember when this person did that, when so and so did that. Now, for some Aries in this time, maybe you're just reflecting on the past, which is interesting because we have the energy that's pushing towards the future, but it's like I have one foot in the past, one foot in the future, which I find really intriguing. But the Six of Cups to me, aside from being another card of soul ties, soul connections, you see the big similarities, is a card of history, memories, the past, things that have already happened, right? So when I see it in reverse under the Two of Cups, it is an energy that returns. It is an energy that reunites or touches base or is speaking about the past for whatever reason. So just know in this time, maybe you're taking some trips down memory lane. That's a big possibility. Maybe you might hear from someone you haven't heard from in a while, or speak about a situation, or something pops up that reminds you of something that you've already been through. To me, it is giving that one foot in the past, one foot in the future already. So we're just going to see how it goes. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing, honestly. I feel like it could be good. Now, sometimes the Six of Cups in reverse, if it isn't talking about something from the past reemerging or looping back, sometimes it can deal with like airing stuff out. So watch out for like unfinished business or situations you might deem as, you know, I don't want to say like there's meat left on the bone, so to speak, but to me, it is kind of like an unfinished situation or unfinished business that could be in play here too. So we're just going to keep moving. We're going to see what the Nine of Wands has. Just something to keep in mind here. All right, so let's go and see what the Nine of Wands has for Aries. What is happening? Yeah, it feels open ended still for some reason. Why's that Nine of Wands here? Thank you. Okay, peculiar. So this, I don't want to say it's necessarily a warning, but when I see the Seven of Swords in reverse, it could be someone acting extremely, extremely cautious for some reason, which, again, there's nothing wrong with being cautious, right? Like sometimes it's a time to be risky, sometimes open up. But when I see the Nine of Wands, the protected, the wounded warrior, with a card that generally represents the hidden or untrustworthy things, there could be people, situations that you might be a little skeptical about, where it's like, I don't know about that. I don't know. That's just how it feels to me. Now, if this was in the upright, I'd be a little more concerned, honestly, because this card, aside from just representing the unknown, the hidden things that aren't on our radar, can sometimes represent untrustworthy people. Sometimes it can represent like thieves and liars. And again, I'm not trying to say the sky is falling and that these things are happening, but yeah, with the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Swords in reverse, it's like I'm looking for something. I'm digging. There's like an investigation type of energy showing up here too. So I'm not sure if there's a situation that you're trying to think about or trying to investigate or trying to get down to the bottom of it. It's like I'm connecting the dots for some reason. So again, nothing wrong with a cautious approach. I mean, it's total inverse to a potential reckless approach or risky one on the back end. But there is absolutely somebody, I don't want to say it's someone with trust issues, but it is someone being overly, overly cautious. And is there such a thing, right? That's something to ponder about. Let's keep moving. Let's go in on the Eight of Wands. So interesting. It's like we have this energy looping back. We have this cautionary energy where it's a little unsure in the center. But let's see what the Eight of Wands has. There's already conversational type of energy happening. So let's see why the Eight of Wands is here, and we'll do our recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Eight of Wands? Thank you. Okay. And this energy just seems to let loose, if that makes sense. There's like a big concerted push for some reason. We got the Eight of Pentacles in the upright underneath this Eight of Wands. So we got the double eights showing up. Now, normally when I see the Eight of Pentacles, that is one of my cards of like work, career, business, things that we put a lot of effort into. So when we look at it in the realm of partnerships, connections, and relationships, it's effort. It's like I'm working towards something. I want to put energy into this. So this energy here is like a boom. So again, what is this a breakthrough potentially? Yeah, it could be. Is it potential like someone taking action out of the blue, like unexpected or surprising action? For sure. Because when we go from this overly cautious type of energy in the front to this, it just explodes out. So whether it's you taking unexpected or surprising action or somebody else. Now, the one thing I love about the Eight of Pentacles is when we look at it in the context of relationships, it represents mending something or trying to fix something or repair it. So when we have this energy on the front, that's potentially unfinished business, unfinished situations. And this on the back end, it's great for healing. It's great for trying to fix or mend or make things right. So I love how this energy plays off of each other, but it is big action out of the blue at the same time. But I think it's good. I think for the vast majority of Aries and cross watchers, this energy is actually really good because things get repaired. So let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. So, very intriguing mixture of energy this week, but I feel like it plays nice for Aries energy. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Two of Cups with the Six of Cups in reverse. Yes, there is still this open door for various things, situations to return and pop back up. But the main thing here, it just, you might have a certain feeling of an unfinished business or unfinished situation where there's like, oh, there's certain things we still need to talk about or discuss. So there could be some open ended situations. But again, I love how it ends off. But in the center, we have the Nine of Wands with the Seven of Swords in reverse. It is a very cautious approach to something. So whoever and whatever it is that pops up or that you're dealing with in this time, it's okay to move with an abundance of caution because as I said a few minutes ago, can you ever be too cautious, right? But the energy does seem a little clammed up in the center. So we go from like the flow to the step back, and then boom, the energy just comes forward on the back end. We have the Eight of Wands with the Eight of Pentacles here. Now, to me, if it is the unfinished business, there is a potential to like repair something or make something right, which is really good. It's very healing to me, especially with the Nine of Wands in the center. But yeah, the main thing to me, it could be like surprising action, unexpected action, whether it's from you or from somebody else. It's like the energy bottles up and then boom, it moves forth and like puts a lot of energy into something. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Aries gang. What's happening? And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this shadow card out here. What's happening? What do we got in the shadows for the beautiful Aries collective? Cool. Yeah, so an Aries power card has shown up. We have the Emperor himself. And remember, it's not gender specific. Now, we will talk about the shadow side of this card, that's for sure. But it does have a bit of a different complexion in an Aries reading because it's an Aries card. Some people also link it to Taurus. But what is the Emperor? It's the King of Kings. It's big boss energy. It's someone that takes control and calls the shots. So this could be good with fixing things, getting things in order, moving forward in a orderly fashion, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like chaos. That's the good thing about this. And for some Aries, this could absolutely represent like how you view yourself. Like this is a big card of self-confidence in an Aries reading. So that's important in this time, like how you're viewing yourself and treating yourself. But the downside to the Emperor is that sometimes it could be a micromanager. Sometimes it's an energy that can try to control too much. And it's an energy that is very specific, where it's like, no, if it's not this way, it's wrong, my way or the highway. So watch out for energies like that. When I see this show up in the shadows, unless you're having issues with an authority figure or a micromanager, this could be spirit saying like, hey, maybe go with the flow a little bit with something. So we're going to let him chill right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice. The winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.